Okay, so we are going to start here a second unit from my side, that is spherical trigonometry. The spherical trigonometry topic is not only important for this subject, for mathematics. The other subjects that you are going to learn in like a navigation subject related to the navigation probably. So there you require this concept of a spherical trigonometry. So before we start this spherical trigonometry, I know everyone we learned this normal trigonometry, okay, plane trigonometry. So can you tell me few properties of a plane trigonometry that you learned in your school days? So plane trigonometry means it is related to a triangle which is drawn in a xy plane, or it is in two-dimensional plane. So for example, this is one of the triangle. So is there any properties you know related to the triangle? Yes, quick.
Sum of all three sides angles is equal to 180 degrees.
Good, very good. So that is only I'm expecting, Devang. Yeah. Sum of the angles of the triangle is always 180 degree. Sum of the angles of the triangle is always 180 degree. That is actually one of the property that we have. I think other than that, we don't have any other properties there for a triangle. Yes, it is for normal triangle. If one of the angle is a 90 degree, we'll say it is a right angle triangle. That are the other things that are just properties there. But one special property of a triangle in a plane triangle is sum of the angle of the triangle is always 180 degree. It is not less than 180 and it is not greater than 180 also. Okay, that should be exactly equal to 180 degree. So that about a plane triangle. But we'll come to this property with a spherical triangle. So before that, we'll see some prerequisite that we require to learn this spherical triangle. None of the definition you have to by heart, none of the property you have to by heart. Remember, all these things you require just for understanding purpose, because not a single numerical you require this definition or the properties. But yes, obviously, if you have the understanding of these things, then only you can correlate and you can understand the examples of this spherical triangle there. Okay, so come to the prerequisite here. Right now you can see some one figure on the right side here. So where a few of the circles drawn on that sphere here, on this sphere. So let me see few definitions. The first one is a great circle. Can you tell me the definition of a great circle? What should be the great circle? Yes, anyone?
Which cuts the whole Earth into two equal spheres.
Okay, two equal hemisphere. Okay, that can be one of the way of explanation. Yes, correct. But I will tell you, yes, which one is a great circle in this figure?
So PS.
PS. Okay, but PS I not drawn an entire circle there. So
Q dash.
Q dash is a correct answer for right now, because it is Q dash is the entire circle we drawn, and that is a great circle. Now the definition of great circle is like this: a circle whose plane passes through the center of the sphere is known as a great circle. So obviously a maximum radius circle we can draw it on the surface of the sphere. That is a great circle here. Okay, so QQ dash is a correct answer here. So that about the definition. The plane of that circle passes through the center of the sphere. What is the radius? What is the radius of, or before that? Yeah, let's see the examples. The examples are here. QQ dash. This QQ dash with respect to the Earth, it is referred as the equator. This is the equator. So equator can be one of the great circle, but not only the equator. We have these poles P and S, south and north pole. Okay, south and north pole. We have infinitely many circles passing through these 2 points there. So there are infinitely many these meridians. These are the meridians which are passing through the poles, south and north pole. So all great circles which are passing through N and S pole, they are known as a meridian. So yes, any name of the meridian on this sphere? Yes.
Which meridian?
Yes, which one? Tell me the
L dash.
L dash is not a meridian. It is not a meridian, no?
PS.
PAS. PAS. Okay, PAS is a meridian. Actually, there is another backside. There is also the arc of the circle. So PA is one of the meridian. Not only that, PQ dash S. So actually PQS Q dash P. So that is one of the meridian here. That is one of the meridian. And all meridians are also the great circle, and all equators are also the great circle there. That's why. Now the hemisphere. There is a very simple definition that hemisphere is obviously, every great circle divides the sphere into the two equal parts, and each part is known as a hemisphere. That's one. So that about a hemisphere. Radius of a great circle. Yes, anyone? What is the radius of a great circle there?
So CQ.
CQ is a radius of great circle, and that is always equal to the radius of the sphere. Okay, so radius of great circle and the radius of sphere are always equal. Then only it is a great circle. Otherwise, this LL dash is not a great circle. This you can consider it as a small circle also. Okay, that is not a great circle actually. Now the poles of a great circle. So already I told for every great circle there are two poles. For example, if you consider QQ dash as a great circle, that equator, for equator QQ dash, south and north pole, they are the poles. Can you tell me definition of a pole with respect to a great circle? Can you define what is the property that follows these 2 points with respect to QQ dash?
Sir, ends of a diameter of a great circle.
Ends of a diameter of a great circle. No, not correct. Diameter को end होता है? Okay, okay. You said that diameter. Yeah, I thought perimeter. Yes, sir. P and S are not ends of the diameter of the great circle. Actually, QQ dash is a
Perpendicular to the great circle.
perpendicular to the great circle. Okay, so that is one of the way you can explain. That is okay. But I will tell you about the particular property of this P with respect to QQ dash. This point P is equidistant. This point P is equidistant from all the points on this great circle QQ dash. Take any point on QQ dash and measure the length between P and Q, that great circle, you will get exactly same distance. So the poles are nothing but these are the points which are equidistant from the great circle there. So that about the definition. Again, I am telling, no need to by heart the exact definitions there. If you have the understanding, if you have just understanding of what is a pole, what is a great circle, that is enough there. That is enough. So every great circle have the two poles. Already we discussed. What about axis? What is axis here?
PS.
PS is axis, correct? So when we join the two poles, okay, whenever we join the two poles, that become the axis for that great circle. Few more definitions now. Length of the great circle arc. Now we are moving to the arc of the great circle. Here is QQ dash is an entire great circle, and if you want to measure the length of the arc of that great circle, let me take one of the arc here. So I will consider here, say let me take 2 points. One is a one is a Q dash point, and say I will take here say P. P is already there, so I will take N. So NQ dash, you will see there is a small arc, NQ dash. Whenever I say we have 2 points N and Q dash on the great circle is divided in 2 parts. One is a smaller arc, NQ dash, and there is another arc also there between these 2 points. Yes, so that arc is obviously this side. Are you getting? So every great circle, on great circle, if we have the 2 points there, that 2 points divides the great circle into 2 arcs. One is a smaller arc and other is a larger arc. Okay, obviously greater than that, or maximum it happens equal arcs. So for example, if we have Q and Q dash, and if we want arc QQ dash, arc QQ dash have the equal length because it is exactly a semicircle. It is exactly a semicircle there. So it is for only QQ dash. Otherwise, we have the arc is always considered as a smaller arc only. Now, if we have to measure this length of arc NQ dash, yes, anyone guess how we can measure this length? Anyone have a guess to measure the length NQ dash? Length of the arc NQ dash. It is not a straight line. First of all, it is not a straight line. So we cannot use a distance formula there to measure the length NQ dash there. Okay, so what is the difference mainly? Don't confuse with the word length here, because even the word length is used, all the arcs are measured in terms of a theta only, angle. So what is the length NQ dash? Length NQ dash is an angle made by that NQ dash with the origin. So just join NC and join NQ dash. So whatever this theta we have, this theta is nothing but it is a length of NQ dash. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so angle subtended by or angle made by that arc with the origin with the center of the sphere is known as the length of the arc of a great circle. Length of the arc of a great circle. So this is the definition that you have. That's angle made by the arc with the origin center of the sphere is the length of that arc of the great circle. Now, shortest distance. Okay, the shortest distance between the 2 points on the surface of a sphere is obviously the smaller arc, smaller arc on the surface, smaller arc of the great circle. Same example, if you take that QQ dash as a great circle, and if you have 2 points, say N and Q dash, and if you want the shortest distance, between N and Q dash, that arc NQ dash is a shortest distance. It is not a straight line. Why it is not straight line? Because we have to move on the surface. We don't have the plane trigonometry here. Okay, so that way. So obviously the smaller arc. So can you guess, or that is written already there now? What is the maximum shortest distance? What is the maximum shortest distance on the surface of a sphere? What is the maximum distance that we have on the surface of a sphere? Yes, anyone? What is the maximum length? Or maximum shortest distance, I will say. What is the maximum shortest distance between the 2 points on the surface of a sphere? Quick.
Sir, pi.
Yes, 180 degree. Remember, all the answers we consider it in degrees only. Don't go in the radian. Okay, nowhere we are going to use a radian answers. Okay, but that's okay. We know that how to convert degree into radian. That is that way we can get it. But everything is given in degrees only throughout in the spherical trigonometry. Yes. So maximum shortest distance between the 2 points on the surface of a sphere is 180 degree. Okay. So beyond 180 degree, there is no distance or no arc we have on the surface of the sphere we have. And what about minimum distance? This is trivial, obviously.
So 0
Zero.
degree.
Yes, zero. Because if you have the same point, say Q and Q only, so you're on the length of the Q with Q only, so that is zero. So 0 degree is a minimum distance, and maximum is 180 degree distance on the surface of the sphere there. That's correct. Next one, next definition that we have here is this loom. This word you already familiar. Anyone guess it is related to what? Loon is a word you generally use it in our day-to-day life. Yes, anyone? What is a loon? This is related to, yes?
So moon.
Yes, moon, correct, good. It is generally related to the moon, we use it. But what is that loon then? Any guess there? Someone is on the chat. Already it is written now. Yes, crescent shape is the answer given. Okay, so it is actually the area. It is the area between area enclosed between the two great circles. Okay, so for example, if I show you here, let me take LQS is one great circle, arc of the great circle, and another is LAS. So whatever this highlighted, you will see this is actually the loon. Okay, so the loon is nothing but it is a surface area of the sphere, which is enclosed between the two great circle. Is that clear? This is the
Yes,
loon.
sir.
So
Yes, sir.
okay, so that about a loon here. Now let me find out the angle of loon. Angle of loon. If you want the angle of a loon, we have to calculate, say, angle S. Suppose you have to calculate this angle S. So in that case, what we have to do it, just we have to draw a tangent at the great circle PAS at the point S. So if you draw a tangent somewhere here, so see this is a T1, and we draw a tangent at QS, so this way. So the angle between them, this is the angle S there. So angle S is nothing but it is made up by the intersection of the two great circle. So the similar figure is shown here. Suppose here this is one of the arc of the great circle. AC is one of the arc of a great circle. AB is another arc of the great circle, and we want the angle CAB. We have to find out the angle CAB. So just draw a tangent at AC, draw a tangent at AB. So if you draw a tangent at AC and AB, the angle made by these tangents is this angle of loon here, you can say. So this is just first of all the angle on the surface of a sphere. It is formed by the intersection of the two great circle, and that angle is calculated with the help of these tangents. Okay, can you guess again what should be the minimum angle and what should be the maximum angle on the surface of the sphere then? What should be the minimum angle and what should be the maximum angle on the surface of the sphere? Yes, anyone? What should be the minimum angle
Sir,
and
0 degrees and 180 degrees.
yes, very good answer, correct one. So minimum angle is obviously 0 degree, and the maximum angle can be a 180 degree. So 0 is obviously when that great circle overlaps each other. Okay, suppose QQ dash only, and uh, like we find out the angle at the point Q, so that can be a maximum 180 degree. We'll come to that with angles again. So yes, 0 and 180 degree, that's the answer there. Now from this point, yes, you have the important concept again, because now we are moving to our actual spherical triangle. Before that, we seen just prerequisite definitions. Now this is the main definition. um, can you explain this figure, anyone? Can you think something here? What is the figure shows here?
Intersection of three great circles.
Yes, very good. That is a correct thing. The intersection of three great circles always gives us a spherical triangle. Okay. Now we moved to our main article. It is a spherical triangle. Nowhere you have to draw these diagrams, 3D diagrams. Obviously, the spherical triangle is not a 2D figure. It is a 3D figure. So whenever we have to draw any spherical triangle, we draw a triangle like this. Say we have 3 points there, P, B, and A. So just you have to draw some arcs there, just like this. This is one, this is another, and this is third. Okay, so this is the triangle P, B, and A. So that about our triangle. So obviously this PB is one of the arc of the great circle. PB is the arc of the great circle. PA is another arc of a great circle, and AB is the third arc of the great circle. So intersection of the three great circle gives us the spherical triangle. So PAB is a great circle. How many components are there to this triangle? How many things that we have for a triangle? That is, you learnt in plane trigonometry also. It is exactly similar thing. How many things are there? There are total 6 things. Which are that?
The three sides and three angles.
Correct. So every triangle have 3 sides and 3 angle, and that are total 6 component. So out of that 6 component, to specify a triangle, the particular triangle, we want to show that is a particular triangle. Minimum, how many things we should know? Minimum out of that 6, we should have minimum how much out of 6? Yes, Shreyans, that is 3 is the answer there, correct? So minimum 3 quantities should be given, either triangles or 3 sides or the combination of sides and angle. Okay, that may be given, but minimum 3 should be given. Then we can have that particular specific triangle there. Okay, so in this triangle PBA, you will observe there are 3 angles, capital PAB, and 3 sides are there, say PB, AB, and PA. But the most important thing, all 6 quantities are always given in degrees only. Degrees or degree and minute. Okay, degree and minute. So this format, all 6 quantities are given. So nowhere you are given the length AB in terms of meter or centimeter. Everything you are given in the degrees. Can you tell me what is the length AB? What is the length AB from this figure? What is the length?
Angle
Angle.
AOB.
Very good. That's correct answer. So whenever we want this length AB, actually this length AB is nothing but it is the angle, this angle AOB, this theta. Okay. So this theta is nothing but, so AB is like say theta 1, then theta 2, theta 3. So these 3 angles. So angle made by the arc AB is with the center of the sphere, that is the length AB there. And can you tell me what is a capital A? How to get capital A angle? How to get capital A angle? Yes, anyone? Or capital P? Yes, yes. How to get that angle? To get the angle P, generally we have to draw a tangent at that point. So this is a tangent for the first great circle, say. This is the tangent to another great circle, say. And so this angle is the angle P there. This is the angle P. I hope it is clear. So whenever we have to get the angle, we generally draw a tangents to the great circle, and whenever we want the length of the arc AB, we get the angle with the origin. Okay, so that is a method of getting the angles of a triangle and arc length there. Okay, or the sides of the triangle, I will say. Now can you guess here what is the minimum? Okay, we'll come to that in the next slide there. Minimum and maximum lengths there. So first of all, let I tell you throughout the topic what we are going to do it. Out of these 6 components, every time we are given any 3 components, and we have to find out one of the remaining. Okay, so that way we are going to deal in this topic here. So these are the important properties that you have. So spherical triangle is made up of 3 great circle. It have the 6 elements, 3 sides, 3 angle, and we are given any 3 elements, and we have to find out one of the remaining there. Okay, or all the 3 remaining. That we are going to do it. So one more triangle is shown on the surface of the sphere here. You'll observe again here is a sphere, this spherical triangle. This triangle is a curved triangle. It is not a plain triangle. It is not in one XY plane. It is not like in XY plane. It is a curved triangle. It is on the surface. Yes. Pardon?
Sir, may you draw it again? The spherical triangle.
Yes, it is a drawn. No, it is. You will observe here. Just if I have to draw, I can draw like this only. I can just draw. I can draw like this. This one, and this one. This is just rough figure. This is say ABC there. Got it? You have to draw just arcs there. Don't draw a straight line. Don't draw like this. Okay. This is a plain triangle. There is say AB. This is the arc AB. This is actually some arc of great circle there. There may be a great circle like this there. Okay. So you will observe here that part. So here is one arc AC. There is a AB and there is a BC. So this is the triangle. Can you see that? Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
So this
Yes, sir.
ABC, you can say yes, it is a triangle ABC. It is a triangle ABC. You can write like this, but you can say spherical triangle ABC. Spherical. This is a spherical triangle ABC. In the spherical triangle ABC, now some standard notations that you should remember. In for a spherical triangle, we use some standard notations, or these are universal notation. We'll say capital alphabets or uppercase letters. These are used to denote the triangle. To denote the angles of the triangle. So PQR, ABC. Okay. So all these alphabets mainly used to denote the vertices of the triangle as well as angles of the triangle. So this capital A angle is here. This is the capital A angle. At the same time, A is that vertex also. Then small alphabets or lowercase are used to denote the sides. So small a is a side opposite to the angle capital A, small b is a side opposite to the angle capital B, and small c is a side opposite to the angle capital C. So capital uppercase are used for the angles and the lowercase used for the sides. So there are two ways of giving the side. Sometimes it is written side AB is equal to. This is the given. Or in some cases, instead of side AB, they will mention C is equal to, small c equal to. So you should be able to identify whether small c is a given or capital C is a given. So you should have a clear look between them. So if small c is given, the side is a given. If capital C is given, the angle is a given. Okay, that way. So this is, capital AB is nothing but it is a small c only. Okay, that way. So that about the notations we have. Again, as we discussed on the previous slide, everything we are given in degrees or degree and minute. So you should know the relation between this degrees to minute, or this convergence you should know, because sometimes it requires in calculation, because you are going to use a calculator. Sorry. And on calculator you replace everything in degrees generally. Okay. Sorry. Can you tell me what is the relation between degree and minute? What's the relation?
So 1 degree is equal to 60
degree is equal to
minutes.
60 minutes.
Correct. 1 degree is equal to 60 minutes. So this is the notation generally used. This is the degree notation, the superscripts. So this is a notation for a degree. This is a notation for a minute. And what about 1 minute in second?
60 seconds.
Correct.
Second.
60 seconds. So what about 1 degree in seconds?
3600 seconds.
Yes, 3600 second. Correct. 1 degree is 3600 second. So that about the relation, and these relations can be used for a conversion purpose only. So majority of the times we are given the angles like this. Say suppose we are given some theta. I will take it here. Say 22 degree, 35 minutes and 14 seconds. Our aim is to write this. In say only degrees. So you have to go step by step. First you have to convert this second to the minute, and then you have to convert minute to the degrees, and you will get the required answer. Can you tell me 14 seconds means how much minutes? 14 seconds means how much minutes? How you can get it?
0.2.
To get it, actually obviously you have to do it.
0.23.
Okay, 0.23. Good. Just 1 minute. So we are converting that second in the minutes. So 35 plus 14 by 60 minute, because okay. So this is 22 degree, and now you can use a calculator. Just take 14 upon 60 plus 35, and you will get 35.23. 35.23 approximately minutes. Now these minutes, again, these minutes also we can convert that in degree. So we can take 22 plus 35.23, this minutes upon 60, and now everything is converted in degree, is it? So it is divided by 60 plus 22, and you will get, what is the final answer you got?
22.
22.59
Okay,
degree.
59 degree or 587 degree. Okay, so that way. So this is one of the way, to convert degree, minute, second to just degree, and the reverse way is also possible. To go in a reverse way, first you have to take a 22 degree. For example, suppose you are given, I will write it somewhere here, on this side now. So suppose we are given theta equal to, say, 22.59 degree. This is given. So we can write it as a 22 degree, and here 0.59 into 60. Now here you have to multiply, that is minute. Okay, so you will get 22 degree, and that comes as a 35.23 minute. You will get roughly this one. Now this can be written as 22 degree. This is 35 minutes, and this 0.23 into 60, that is a second. And you will get the required answer, which is a reverse way, say 22 degree, 35 minutes, and then 14 seconds. Okay, so this is one of the way conversion. But remember, scientific calculators are allowed, and I know that many of you already know how to convert these degrees to the minutes. Degrees to the minutes and second, and this when the angle is given in minute and second, how to convert in degree. Is it everyone knows, or should I show you on the calculator here how to do that on a calculator? Because yes, calculator is the best way to do it. Quickly, within a second, you can get these conversions there. Everyone knows it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so there is no need to show it then, or someone wants here. So just what I will do it, I will show you quickly. Here on a calculator. Just a minute. I hope everyone can see this calculator. Okay, on a calculator, suppose we have that same conversion from degrees to degree, minute, and second. I will take 22.59 degree. Okay, 22.59. So just press 22.59, 22. 22.59. I press 22.59 on the screen there. Okay, and just press equal button. So right now we have 22.59. Okay, but there is one important tab on a calculator. It is a below square root sign. This is just below square root sign. You will observe it is just below that square root sign there. So this tab is where it is a 0 and a single inverted comma and double inverted comma is printed. That is actually that 0 indicates degree, single inverted comma indicates minute, and double inverted comma second there. So we have to press shift button, or just press that button. I press that button. Okay, just I directly press without shift. I press that button, and what I got here, 22 degree, 35 minutes, and 24 seconds. Is it visible to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so
Yes, sir.
this way you can use a calculator and quickly you get 22 degree, 35 minutes, 24 seconds. That is one of the way. Reverse way is also possible. To get a reverse way, just first press 22 and then press that tab of degree, minute, second. So it will become 22 degree. Say I want then 22 degree, I want say 45 minute. So I press 45 and I press that tab. So I got 22 degree 45 minutes. Say 10 second. So I press 10 and again same tab. So I got here on the screen 22 degree 45 minute and 10 second. So that I have here. Now last step, to convert this into only degrees, press shift button, there. So I press shift here and then I press the same tab of degree, minute, second. If I press that, just a minute. Okay, before that I have to press equal actually. So I press equal. So when I press equal, it comes on the calculator 22 degree 45 minute 10 second, and now shift button and that degree, minute, second tab. So you'll observe the answer is on the screen, and that answer is a 22.75 degree. Is it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so anyone have the
Yes,
doubt?
sir.
Anyone have doubt to convert?
No, sir.
No. Okay,
No, sir.
so good. So we'll move to the properties here. So come to the few remaining properties here. Which scientific calculator should I buy? Okay, generally this FX100 MS is enough there. You can buy any other scientific calculator, but few tabs should be there, which mainly important is this degree, minute there. Okay, so FX100 is enough there. Casio FX100 MS, that's all. Unit for measurement, see all 6 parts given in degrees and minutes or radian only. Even though it is given in radian, we convert that in degree only. Okay, we'll do the calculation in degrees. So everywhere we get in degree and minutes only. Now that question that I want to ask on the previous slide only, can you tell me what is the maximum spherical triangle that we have on the surface of a sphere? You can say you can consider like this also. What is the maximum surface area of that spherical triangle?
Infinite.
No, how it is infinite? Sphere is a limited, and how can
180.
180 degree? I'm asking maximum spherical triangle. I'm not asking the angle. I'm not asking the angle of spherical triangle. What is the maximum spherical triangle you can imagine on the surface of a sphere? So one of the triangle is on the screen already. That is a triangle ABC. Okay, that triangle ABC. How that triangle ABC is actually formed? It is by intersection of the 3 great circles. Okay, so that 3 great circles can be overlapping each other. So what happens in that case? Suppose all 3 great circle overlaps each other. What will be the great that spherical triangle then? Maximum spherical triangle on the surface of the sphere is a hemisphere. Hemisphere is also one of the spherical triangle, I will say. Okay, so let I show you here. Let us take a great circle AB. This is AB is there, and I will take some other points on backside of that great circle AB. Say P there. Just a minute. So right now I have 3 arcs of the great circle. I am taken one point somewhere here there. Okay, so one arc is here. This is AB. AB is one of the arc of the great circle. Another arc of the great circle I will take some from here. Say AP. AP is another arc of the great circle, and third arc of the great circle is say PB. You will observe these are the 3 sides of the triangle now. One of the side is AB. AB is one of the side. PB is the second side, and AP is the third side. So this PAB is also the spherical triangle. Even though it not looks like a triangle, it is look like a hemisphere, but it is one of the spherical triangle there. Okay. So that is a maximum spherical triangle that is possible on the surface of a sphere. on the surface of a sphere, maximum spherical triangle is a hemisphere only. Can you guess what about the maximum angles, maximum sum of the angle between the sum of the angles of the triangle here in a spherical? Yes, anyone? What is the minimum sum of the angle and maximum sum of angle?
So it is approx to the 360 degree.
Pardon? It is up to 360.
Approx 360, yeah.
360. It's related to the sum of the sides or sum of the angles. Which you want to say?
Yes, sir.
Which one? Side or the angle? Sum of the sides of the triangle is 360, or sum of the angles of the triangle is a 360.
Sum of the three sides.
Sides is the correct answer, because if you take origin here, suppose here is somewhere origin of the sphere. With respect to that origin, suppose you draw this angle made by the arc PB is here, angle made by the arc AB is here, this one. So if you take these three angles, sum of these three angles, this is coming 360 degree. So sum of the sides of the triangle, is 360 degree maximum. Okay, it is a maximum, it is not exact. In plane triangle, there is a different property. Remember, in plane triangle, we should have equal to 180, means it should be exactly 180 degree. But in spherical triangle, it is up to 360. I am saying it can be less than 360 also. It can be less than 3. What is the minimum angle possible? What is the minimum sum of the sides possible? Yes. What is the minimum sum of the sides is possible for the spherical triangle? Anyone have a guess? And what should be the smallest?
180.
180 is not a correct answer. I will tell you. But before that, we already seen a maximum spherical triangle. Maximum spherical triangle is hemisphere. We see. What is the smallest spherical triangle which is possible on the surface of sphere?
0.
0 is a correct answer. Good. So 0 is the answer. Smallest spherical triangle is just a single point. Why the single point is a spherical triangle? Because for a single point, say A. Okay, suppose A is a single point here, this point. Okay, you got already the answer on the screen there. So A is a point. This point A can be formed by the intersection of the three great circle. Okay, three great circle can intersect in a single point, and that point itself act like a spherical triangle there. But when single point is a spherical triangle, sum of the sides of the triangle is a 0 degree. Sum of the sides of the triangle is 0 degree. So 0 to 360 degree, 0 to 360 degree is the range for the side of the spherical triangle. 0 degree to 360 degree. So maximum side is a 360 degree and maximum angle is a 540 degree for the maximum spherical triangle. Why 540 degree? Because we measure the angle of the triangle by a tangent. When we draw a tangent, suppose we draw a tangent at point B. So this tangent is 180 degree. So angle B is 180 degree. Angle A is also 180 degree. Angle P is also 180 degree. So when we have maximum spherical triangle as a hemisphere, that time 180 plus 180 plus 180, that is a side of the angle of the triangle, and that is a 540 degree. 540 degree is the angle of the triangle, while 360 degree is the side of the triangle. That about the maximum spherical triangle. Smallest triangle we already observed, that is a single point, and that time sum of the sides is 0 degree there. But yes, angle is never a 0 degree. Minimum angle on the spherical triangle is always 180. So these notations we already discussed. Uppercase we use to denote the angle, lowercase we use to denote the sides, and angles and its opposite sides are represented by same alphabet. Okay, that is the standard notations, universal notations for spherical triangle we should follow there. Okay, so here are few last properties. This spherical triangle are a three-dimensional figure. Spherical triangle is a three-dimensional figure. This is a curved triangle is there. Next property. Yes, side is always less than 180 degree and it lies between 0 to 360 degree. So sum of the sides is always up to 360 degree and minimum is a 0, maximum is 180. Angle is always less than 180 degree, but the angle range is 180 to 540. So minimum angle, sum of the angle is 180, maximum is 540. Two sides of a spherical triangle are equal, then the angle opposite to them are also equal. Okay, so it is just a similar property to the normal triangle. If we have the length of the sides of the triangles are equal, opposite sides are equal length, then opposite angles are equal, and such a triangle can be said as isoscale triangle. Is it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The sum of two sides of the triangle is always greater than the third side. Okay, sum of the two sides of the triangle is always greater than the third side. These are proper. None of the property should by heart. I will tell you. This is just go through that. Remember, try to understand that only. Don't by heart it. No property we require to solve the numerical. Sixth is important property that we require to solve the numericals. The greater side has a greater angle opposite to it, and conversely. Means this greater side have the greater angle. So when we have this any spherical triangle, say I will draw it here, one triangle. Say this is my point A here. Here is a point B, and here is point C. This is a spherical triangle ABC. Say okay. Even though it looks like a circle, remember this is one of the arc. This is one arc there. This is another arc I drawn, and this is a third arc we drawn. So because of that, it is a triangle there. So say arc AC is a greater than arc AB, is it? Just an example. We taken some arc AC is a greater than arc AB. So if arc AC is a greater than arc AB, opposite angle to arc AC, which is the angle opposite to arc AC? Yes.
Angle B.
Angle B. Okay, arc AC is the angle B. And what is arc AB? Opposite AB?
Angle C.
Angle
C.
So the relation should follow them. If arc AC is greater than arc AB, then angle B should be greater than angle C. That is a property. This is the property of a triangle, which is a most important property, and that you should remember why it is required, because in numericals we are going to use this property. Whenever there is ambiguity to select the angle, whenever we have difficulty to select the angle, we use simple this property to get a correct angle there. When one arc is greater than another arc, opposite angle should follow the same property, and vice versa. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that about a simple property. And the last property now. Yes, if the angles of the base of the triangles are equal, it is isoscale triangle. That's okay. That is a simple property that we have. Only the property 6 is important that we require while solving the example. Yes, property 2 and 3 also matters, because sometimes if by mistake in an exam, but it is never happen, it will never happen. But I will just tell you. Suppose you the question is find all the sides of the triangle. Find all the sides of a triangle, and suppose your answer goes beyond 360. If you say small a is you got as a 90 degree, small b side you get 180 degree, and you say small c is also you got 180 degree. If you write these answers, obviously they are wrong, because sum of the sides of the triangle can be a 360 degree maximum. So it goes beyond that. Okay, so that way you come to know that you got wrong answers there. So that way only. Otherwise, yeah, nowhere it require. But definitely you don't have the wrong questions in the exam. So only the thing is, if you should not make a mistake to write the correct angles, correct answers. If you select a wrong angle there, that time your answers can go beyond this 360, and you made a mistake then. Okay, that way. So that's for the today. Actually.